Okay, well I finally made it out to the shop. I actually should go out and clear the driveway. I've been neglecting it all week because was sick, didn't feel good, didn't get out in the shop. I still actually feel horrible, but feel a lot better than I'd have. And I actually should hop in the tractor here and head out and clear the driveway, but I'm going to put it off since we're supposed to get a bunch of snow. This is my favorite little winter toy here. I can go out and blow the snow and be nice and toasty inside the cab. I got tired of being out in the cold shoveling snow, so that was what prompted me to buy the little gem. And it's we've had it for well, this will be going on 4 years now, and hasn't let us down. It's a nice little unit. Yeah, I really like it. Okay, I finally making it out to the shop here, and I'm going to do a little bit of work on the carburetors. I turned up the cylinder for basically taking the place of the butterfly, a little cylinder that goes in the inside here. I tried a mic on my camera which didn't work, and so the video that I just shot while I was turning those up was pretty much a silent movie, so I probably won't post that. So anyway, now I'm up to the point where I need to drill basically the butterfly or the hole through the cylinder, carburetor cylinder. I got to drill a cross hole through there, and then mill the retaining flat on it, and that part should be done. So I'm going to set it up on the mill here and drill the cross hole across it, through it, and once I get this done, then I'm going to make the needles for it. But I did, while I wasn't feeling good, I did do a little bit of cleaning and deburring on it, but they still need to be a little more polishing and cleaning and deburring, but they're coming along though. I still have the holes left to put in the base of it to hold it on. It's going to hold it on to that little riser plate that I made for the manifold. I haven't got the holes in that riser plate either, so maybe after I get done with this cross hole, that's what I'll do. I'll set up and do that, the riser plate holes and the holes in the manifold and the holes in this, and then I'll go to the needles. But anyway, I still feel like I'm dragging a little bit, but a lot better than I have been all week. So, all right, well, I'll come back when I get it set up here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set it up in the vise on the mill. Probably just set a stop, and set a stop and set it in crossways in the vise on a parallel, and pick up the center of it and drill the cross hole. And then once I do that, then I'll put a pin through that cross hole, set it at the degrees that I need, which is 80 degrees, so it's 20 degrees off of vertical, right? 20 degrees off vertical or 20 degrees off horizontal? 20 degrees off horizontal, the hole. And then mill the flat. This has a flat on the back side up against that flange, and basically all that flat does is it's a retaining, so it doesn't pop out of the carburetor, holds it in place. So I will get it set up and show you my setup when I get it set up. Okay, I put my edge finder in here. This is my edge finder that I use to dial in to get me right on. It leaves no room for error. Like, you know, the edge finder that you spin, yeah, you can, if you're really careful, you can get it within a thou. I don't know if it needs to be that. I'm just partial to using this, I guess. I used it a lot during my working out in the shop at work where I work, and I've just gotten so used to using it that seems like that's the only thing I really trust anymore. You know, I have several different types of edge finders. I have this one right here that it's kind of discolored, but it lights up. It's supposed to light up anyway. Apparently the battery is dead. I should probably take that. If there's a battery in it, I should probably take that battery out. I'll take it apart here and see. I may have already taken the battery out of it. The way it's corroded? No, I don't think so. Yeah. That's not good. See, I haven't used this in years now, so there's a AAA battery in the inside here that one end butts up against this light bulb. The other end butts up against the spring in the threaded portion in the back, and when this is in the spindle, and when it makes contact with your material, it closes the circuit and the light comes on. And this one also will get you within a thou easily when it worked. Oh, it's coming. Ah, there we go. Yeah, that battery's a little shot. I'm gonna have to clean that up somehow. Clean that all out. Just because I don't use it doesn't mean that I want to let it go to shit either. Yeah, batteries are kind of a pain if you don't use it every day. Probably take the battery out, or otherwise you end up with it like this. But then I also have the more conventional edge finder, and like I say, I use it, but not very often. I use the one with an indicator. It takes a little longer. I don't know. It all depends on what you get used to and what you like to use. And for me, it's that edge finder, so that's what I use. Basically, all I do is I'm sweeping in the chair here, and it's only as accurate as your indicator and how close you want to get it. Because I know that chair, the edge that's clamped in the vise up against the vise is right dead on the center of that chair. Oh, a long ways off. There. Okay, bottomed out that way, and now it's not tucked in this way. 5. 15 over, 5 under. Actually, should be right there, 2.5. 0. 0. Now I know that there are a lot of you out there are going to say, well, why don't you just use you don't have to, the spinning edge finder, you don't have to stick your head underneath and all this. Well, like I said, it's like personal preference, you know, it's whatever you prefer, you know, the way you prefer doing it. I'm just going to set my dial here, and I'm going to back off, and I'm going to come back to 0, just to make sure that I'm still okay, that I got my dial set correct. Right. 0, so it should be 0. Looks good. Okay, so that's the back jaw. Now, I'll take this out. Now I'm going to sweep in the part itself. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a parallel in here. I'm going to put the big end of it back to the back jaw. And I'm just going to push it down on that parallel. And it's going to square itself to the back jaw, and I'm going to snug it up, fairly snug. And then I'm just going to pull that parallel out of there. And now I have to calculate how far out I'm going to come for that hole. So it's 335 plus the thickness of that head. So 335 plus 55. Right? 50? Yeah, I'm still sniveling. Okay, so 390. I want to come out 390. 1, 2, 3, and 90. Right there. Okay, so now we want to come over and pick up the center. We want to sweep that in, that the part in. And what I like to do is just kind of rotate the indicator around and push it around until I get it kind of traveling on center. You know, just kind of eyeball into the center of rotation so that the needle only has a small amount of wiggle in it. And then just eyeballing it to the center. Kind of eyeball it to the center here. And then swing around and then starts picking it up from there. Swing it around this way so you can kind of, if you guys, yeah, you can see that. Okay, so now put it up against the, I'm going to put it up against the part, and then I'm just going to go back, rock it back and forth and find the center of it, that on rotation. Okay, so there's 0. Now I'm going to go up and down, so you got to find 0 both ways on a diameter like this. Okay, so there's 0 right there, so now I set everything to 0. And now that should be the center of rotation, and up and down. I should be able to go over to the other side and see where I'm at. I take it down till it just touches, and then rock it back and forth and find the lowest reading, and then take her up and down and find the highest reading. And I am 7 thousandths off center, so I'm actually 7 thousandths to the minus side. So I will move it. I will move it to 3.5. Okay. Oops, went by it. Back up and do it here again. There we go. All right, now I'm 3.5. Now let's 0 that. Okay, 0. 0. Swing it around. Bring it down till it just touches, and then swing it back and forth. Get your lowest reading. Now go up and down and find your highest reading. And it looks like I am about 1/2 thousandths from being right dead on center. So I'm gonna fudge it over there just a little bit. This really doesn't need to be that accurate, but no, what the heck. I'm here already, so I might as well get it right on. There's 0. Swing it around. Touch. Swing it back and forth, find the lowest spot. It's basically find the lowest spot on rotation on a diameter, and then go up and down and find your highest spot. And that's 0. So I'm dead on center, and I'm 390 thousandths from the end, so I should be set to go. And this size of this hole, I believe, is supposed to be a 125. I've got several different drawings here, and I don't think I have the latest rev, so I am going to go check to make sure that that hole size is correct. I made a mistake already on this by using this old set of drawings, because the first set of drawings that I got from Steve, I printed out, and I've been scribbling in stuff that had been changed and corrected, and I'm pretty sure that hole's been corrected, so I am going to go check on the new drawing, and I'll be back. Okay, I was correct. See if you can see that, but it is a 125 diameter hole, so I will, that's what I'm going to drill in there, and set my laptop down here and get myself a center drill. Okay, I got a center drill here. I don't know what size drills I've got laying here. I got an excuse. I wasn't feeling good, so I didn't put things away because I come out this morning and my lathe's all messed up. And well, I tried to use that mic early. You know, it was actually yesterday I came out, tried to use that mic, and it was a silent movie when I turned these up, and I wasn't feeling good anyway, so then I quit. So yeah, this is the 125, so that's what I want. This other one is a 98. Okay, so I should be ready to center drill and drill that hole through. There we go. And it's an 1/8 inch body center drill, so I can center drill it all the way to the body diameter. Oh, that seems like it's close out to the end. Not that I'm second guessing myself, I'm gonna lay my scale up there. I don't know. For some reason, it just doesn't look right. Okay, should be 335 from the shoulder in. That looks about right there. I mean, that's according on the scales. A lot closer to the end than I thought it was. And I thought it was even, right? Well, if it doesn't line up, I got more material. I can, as we had a gentleman I worked with for many years in the tooling shop, and he'd be milling something and have second guessing himself, and he'd always say, "Oh well, there's more material in the back." There's more material on the shelf. I miss that guy. Retired about 3 years ago now. I've seen him once since retirement, which is kind of sad. But we don't get together more often. The drill is a little dull. I'm going to have to sharpen it before I do the next one. Okay, so and that's it for this setup. Basically, it's just a one hole. It's just the one hole that needs to be drilled through it. So, and then from there it has to be the slot or the retaining slot on the back at 20 degrees to that, so I'm gonna quick deburr this a little bit, and I'm gonna put it in the carburetor body and make sure. I don't know. Oh, oofda. I am still dragging butt. Whatever is going around, my wife has it now, and she's not feeling real well. I don't know. And I swear it came from work. We have some people out there that, no matter how sick they are, they think that the company can't survive if they're not there, you know. So they come to work and they spread it around to you know, 10, 15 people, whereas if they would have just took a day or two off so that they weren't contagious when they came to work, they'd save the company a pile of money. But they don't see it that way. You always have those type that think they're irreplaceable or something. I don't know. Okay, let's slide this in place here. I still got a burr hanging there somewhere. Get a flat needle file here. And, oh, right here they are. Got a bit of a sore throat now too. First, this nose is still kind of running, and sinuses are, and now sore throat. At least I ain't running the temperature anymore. Oh, for a while there, I was running a terrible temperature. I thought I was going to end up going to the doctor, but me and doctors don't get along. I hate going to a doctor. I don't know. Yeah, it does look like it's a little off center, but it does encompass the hole there, though. Yeah, let's see the bottom side. Yeah, it'll be okay, though, I think. Oh, yeah. And yeah, this one yet to do. Yeah, it. Oh, come on now. I got it stuck in there. Okay. Actually should be closer yet to the end, according to this. She's off just a tad. What I could have done, I guess, was just put this in here and then dial it in, and you know, that would probably have been simpler to do. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll take and set that in there. You know what? I'm going to change the way I'm going to do this. I'm going to go ahead and have it mated together like that. Set that in there. I'm going to put a small tool bit in there, a small tool bit up against the side to hold that into place. Basically sandwich it between two small tool bits here, lathe bits. Do I have the other? Put the parallel in here. It would help if the parallels were the same size, though. Yeah. There we go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I have it in place here. I'm just going to put tool bit up against it like that and clamp it, and then between two tool bits, and then dial in that hole. Then I know that it's going to be, you know, it's going to actually be correct and on center, and oh boy, hoofda. Okay. There's always a lot of ways you can do parts like this, you know. I mean, you can do them mated together, or you can do them dimensionally, or. But it seems like this thing is kind of giving me a little bit of a pain as far as doing everything dimensional. I don't know what it is. It could be that I just ain't feeling good and not being careful enough. I probably will make that other one over again and turn up another one. I don't like the way it's, if you look in here, I don't like the way it's off center. It's actually off center a little bit. It ain't focusing, is it? But if you could see it, you can see it's off to one side a little bit, and I don't like that. I want it centered the way it should be. So we'll get the indicator out here again. Oh, here it is. This time there won't be any moves involved at all. Just basically dial in the carburetor body. Again, I just move my indicator around until it's kind of on center so that I can get it close. Oh, boy. Zero and above all the way around to the 10. So breaker in. Zero. Okay, so now if I crank X to close to zero, it should be talking business here. Okay, zero. Now we're above. Okay, where are we at over here? We are 7 below, so gotta go minus 3.5. I don't know if you're probably getting a picture of the back of my head. All right, 0. So now crank this into 0. It's just basically chasing the 0 around. 4 above, 4 below. 0. 1.5 below. 0, 0, 0, 0. You get 3 sides 0, you know that you're there. Unless the hole ain't round. Okay, that should be on center right there. This one will look a lot better than the other one. I need to go blow my nose. Geez, I wish that would go away. Okay. Try this again. Drill a hole. Hey, look at that. That one looks like it's on center. It better be. I should have went and sharpened that grill a little bit. It seemed like it was kind of dull. So, and now I'm going to go back to the lathe over here and quick turn up another one. So I'll come back after I get the other one turned up and I get ready to cut that angled slot. Okay, I'm setting up on milling the retaining slot in it, and it's going to be 10 degrees off of the center of that hole, and I have to rotate it counterclockwise with the base of it clamped up against the vise. I know where I was at here, so I cranked out the distance that I need to be to have that slot, and it calls for a 72 thou wide slot. I'm going to use a 62.5, go through, and then I'm going to just crank it in 5 and out 5 to crank it to get that 10 thou over the to get the 72. And how I set the angle at 10 degrees is I stuck a drill in here, the 1/8 inch drill, and then I used my little electronic angle. Basically, I put it up against the drill, you know, so that the drill is like that, and I put it up against the drill. It's magnetic, and then I turned it until I got to 10 degrees, then clamped it. So the hole is set at 10 degrees, so that'll give me that 80 degrees that the drawing is calling out off of center line of, or the vertical of that hole that we drilled. So that should put me right where I need to be. So I got a 1/16 end mill here, change collets and put that in. I did go back to the lathe and turned up a new one. This is the one that's drilled off center, so I'm using it as a setup part. And let's see, it's calling out a depth, so of, let's see, figure this out, 264, and they want 70 less, so about 100 thou deep. I don't think that's all that critical either, other than it can't run into naturally the jet hole in the center of it. So bring that down. And crank the knee up. Not all that critical, I don't think, as far as the depth, but get it close anyway. You still got a view. Okay, let's zoom in here a little bit. Yep. Yep. Probably getting dizzy now, huh? My tripod a little touchy there. All right, so I want to go approximately 100 thou deep. So crank back and forth like this. I set it with a paper, but I don't know. Yeah, it's touching right there. Set my dial to 0, and I will go 20 at a time on a single end mill like that. And really, the mill should be running a lot more RPM than I have for that little end mill. Should be cranking that at 15,000 RPM brass. Doing this right. I'm just double checking myself here now. Just looking off the lead. 264. Just a minute, I'm gonna double check here. Not exactly remembering what. Okay. 264, and that would be a 140 diameter. 124 left. Oh, I'm glad I double checked myself. I need to go the depth that I'm sitting at right now. That's the depth I want right there. For some reason I was thinking 100 thou and it's not, it's 60 thou. Sometimes it pays to double check. Okay, so now all of a sudden the travel indicator on my y-axis, but I didn't loosen my dial and reset my dial, so I need to find where I put my travel indicator. Huh. I got several of them. They're usually hanging on the side of my cabinet here. Yeah. Oh, huh. It's hanging on the go yet. This one. Look at that remembering again. Alright. Alright, I will move it out 5. Go across. Move it in 5. We go back. And that should do it. And we'll see here. We'll see here if it actually fits in there like it's supposed to. This is my setup part here too, so in there like that. Looks like I gotta get a 256 screw and screwed in that hole. I gotta just hang on here. I gotta get 256 screw. Oh crap, they're back here. 256 quarter. That'll be long enough or not. Well, here, I got some long brass ones here, just to test this out. They're in a tube. They're left over from some steam engines that I built. Okay. So, thread that into that hole. Oh, wait a minute. That's not a 256. You dummy. Those are 440s. Or, I mean, odd 80s. I'll get it right here. Yeah. I'm telling you. I'm still not feeling good, so my brain is like functioning only 50% or something. I don't know. Alright. Yeah. Get an odd 80 out here. I don't need a whole bunch. I only need one. You don't want to drop them on the ground or the gremlin will have it. He's gotten enough for me to this year already. My fingers don't want to work. Allen wrench. Get an Allen wrench here. If I can get it started in the hole. There we go. And turn this around so that the slot is lined up with it. Plug it in. It's not going in all the way. Did I mess up on the depth on this part? Let me see. Yeah, I didn't drill the And this setup part, I didn't go deep enough on that hole, so I'll put it in one of the good bodies here, that just to make sure that everything is fitting the way it's supposed to. I'll take this one in. One of these I had out and deburred a little bit. Just so put that in there like that. Put this little screw on the okay, I need a longer screw. Well, I'll be back. I gotta sort this out. Okay, it took me a little bit, but I remembered I ordered some longer screws for the water pumps, and I found those. So I put one in. It was a little snug, so I am going to adjust it. It's actually holding it in just a little too tight, so I am going to go ahead and move it 5/1000ths out, and then reset up and do the next one, one that'll actually be a good one. But I'll show you how I'm setting the angle. I just put it in here, and oh crap, just about dropped it in there. Ah! Fish it out of there. I don't want to drop it in there. Okay, I just kind of clamp it in, lightly clamp it in there with the hole kind of up and down, and then I put a drill through it. And it's loose enough to where I can still turn it. And I have my my angle, electronic angle, and I have that set on the vise, and I zero that out. And now I go ahead and I put it on the drill, and I just tilt it over till it comes up to 10 degrees, because that's what I want. I want 10 degrees off of vertical. 8, 9, 10, 2, just a little back a little bit. It takes a little bit of fussing with. If you just take your time, you'll get it. And okay, right there. I'm kind of taking the medium because there's a little bit of slop in that drill. I push the slop out that way. I'm at 9.6, so I'm 4.4 under 10, and now I'm at 10.5, so that's pretty darn close right there. So I'll tighten it up a little bit. Set that over there. Pull that out of there. And now, instead of 0 on my indicator, I am going to move it in 5 thou, and then reset to 0 there. That'll give me 5 thou more clearance, so that this will turn a little more freely in there. Because right now it would turn, but it was snug. The screw was really holding it snug. So crank over here and come down and just kind of touch. The depth isn't that critical. So I'm just gonna come over here, bring the spindle down, touch the end mill on the top, crank it off, start it up, and then I'm gonna zero my knee. And I'm gonna take 20 thou cuts again. I'm gonna take 20 thou at a time. For some reason my camera shut off on me, so I was zooming it in here. I'm going to take 20 thou cut at a time. I'm going across there now. And we've determined that it's 60 thou deep is what I want. Okay, so there's 20. 40. 60. And now, on that depth, I'm going to crank out 5. Go across it again. Line cutting across it. Crank it in 5. And come across it again. And that should do it. Take it out of there. Hit it a little bit with my. I'll hit it a little bit with my needle file here, just to make sure it gets the burrs off of it. Okay. I have the long screw still in here from the last the setup part that was in there. Okay, I'll tighten that in there. And then check to see that I can still rotate it after I put the screw through. Okay, screw is in and it rotates and it won't come out. So that looks like that's the spot. So I will yeah, there's maybe I'd say probably a 5 to 10 thou slop back and forth. I'll turn the screw in all the way, or in a lot further. Still rotates. Still got the same. So that screw is going through the center of that slot, so that's a good deal. So I will do the next one the same way. Okay, well, I'm back out here. I took a break and went in and had a sandwich. Wasn't feeling. I'm still not feeling good. So I went in, had a sandwich, and then I fell asleep for 2 hours. So I'm finally back out here. I'm setting up on riser plates. I've got them roughed out. You know, I CNC'd them and drilled holes that mount them to the manifold, but I haven't drilled the little holes that the carburetor is going to mount to, the odd 80 holes. So I'm setting up to do the odd 80 holes, and what I've done is I've got it in the vise here, and got it in the vise, and I'm going to just locate it up against the stop and the back jaw and drill them 65 thou from the edge over and from the back in, and I'm just going to load it this way and load it that way, flip it this way, basically just flip it around, because I'm just going to come off of that corner. I'm coming off of that corner on each corner. Not even going to center drill them, because they are going to be, I'm going to use these plates as a drill guide for the carburetor anyway, so as long as I'm careful, should be able to get away with it without having to stop and change to a center drill. myself a cool tool here though. I got a little cool tool in this. It's basically what I use for coolant in my CNC, and then I put it in spray bottles, squirt bottles too. Cool tool. Or not cool tool. It's not cool tool. It's trim saw. I used to use cool tool, but then I went to trim saw in my CNC, and I'm really happy with that stuff. We use it out at work. It doesn't stink. You can have it in your machine for, well, it's been in my CNC for 3 years now, and it doesn't stink. There's whey lube floating on the top of it, but it doesn't get rancid. Nothing gets rusted up from it. It's some really good stuff. I buy it in a gallon jug. I've got one gallon just about used up, and basically that is it. That's the stuff that I use. 1 gallon makes more than 5 gallons. I'm not exactly sure what the ratio is. I just kind of mix it until it looks good. You know, I haven't had any problems with it. And like I say, it's got a pleasant smell. It doesn't stink, and it doesn't get rancid and bad smelling in the sump. It's been in my machine since my machine was new, and we use it out at work, and that's why I figured, well, I'll start. And I think for a gallon jug of this is like, it's under $20, I think. So, but it is some good coolant and it's a multi-use coolant. I mean, it's good for aluminum, stainless, brass, steel. It's good for pretty much anything that home machinist is gonna use or gonna mill. Okay, so now I flipped it around to the back side. Can't believe that I slept 2 hours. Can't believe I went in. I had a ham sandwich and then checked a few things on the laptop, on the message boards and stuff, and then fell asleep. I flipped it sideways now, but I'll have all 4 holes done. I'll just This is for odd 80 threads. I'll use it to spot the holes on the carburetor, main body of the carburetor, and then I'll open them up to 63 thou. And I just flip it that way. Okay, there's one that's done. It's got all 4 holes in the corners. So now what I'll do is I'll take one of the carburetor bodies, and I will put that on there, and I will take a small C-clamp and, or can twist clamp. I'll take a small can twist clamp and I'll just put it on there like that. Oop, sorry, you guys aren't even looking. All right, there. Put it on like that. I'm just gonna clamp it with a small can twist clamp, spot the holes, take it off, and then I'll open them up to 63 thou. So when I get to that point, I will come back. Okay, I clamped it up. Clamped the bottom plate onto the carburetor. I'm going to use that as the drill guide to drill those holes. So what I'm going to do is, I've got parallels in there. I'm just going to set it on those float balls, kind of level it in a little bit here, get it level, and I'm just going to crank around and eyeball the drill straight. You can usually see, you can usually get it really close just by eyeballing. Just run it down in the hole. You can see the drill flex one way or the other, and just get it to where it's not flexing anymore, just like that, and then drill the hole. And now this way it should be pretty darn close. If it does flex a little bit, it's not really going to hurt nothing, because it's small enough to where it's not going to really matter. Okay. And one more. Okay, now I can remove that, and I did mark it so that it goes back on the same one, since these aren't put in dimensionally, they're just, so it's basically transferring this pattern to this one, and the other one I'll basically transferring the whole pattern to that one. So now I'll go in and open them up. And basically I do the same thing, just kind of, this one here I shouldn't have to move because I was already there. And I'll go over to the next hole and just kind of eyeball it. You can see if it flexes, if the drill flexes one way or the other. It's flexing out just a little bit right there. And it'll follow that hole now anyway, if you get real close. Oh, I see it move that back. I think that drill's wobbling a little bit. And see how it actually followed that hole. The hole will end up a little bit tapered or at an angle, but the screw will go through it. As long as the screw goes through it and holds it on. Not too worried about it. Okay, so why is my drill running a little funky? That's worse. That's better. A little bit, there we go. One more. Okay, that should do it for that one. And now I'll go back and tap the holes in this. And when I do that, I'll put it back in here, get the chuck over top, and I'll use the chuck as a guide, and I'll use my little thumb wheel again to tap those holes. I don't like tapping them any other way than that. Okay, I got it clamped in there, ready to be tapped. I put a drill in there, lined up the hole. I got the tap in my little holder here. Basically, it's just a thumb wheel. Let the tap stick out the top so I can put it in the chuck to guide it. Take and put a little dab of Molly D on it. Stick it up into the chuck here, and very loosely, so that I can still turn it in the chuck. The three jaws of the chuck just guide it. It doesn't hold anything. It's just guiding it. Get the vice jaw or the parallel all the way so I don't break a tap coming through, and then turn it through. Tap's feeling a little dull. I ordered some new ones, haven't gotten them yet. That should be far enough. Okay, that's one down, 3 to go. I think I'm going to switch taps though. I got a couple others here. Take that tap out of there. Feeling a little bit dull, a little spooky. I'll put this one in. Hope my new ones show up here soon. Okay. So line up the next hole. Drill back in, loosen up the part, slide it over. It should pretty close, lining up right there. There. A little Molly D on that tap. Yeah, this one turns a lot easier, a lot better. Amazing, the little thumb wheels, you can really tell the difference between a dull tap and a sharp tap pretty quick because you know you don't have the leverage on it as you do with a tap handle. If you use a tap handle, it's just not the same. Okay, that should be far enough. You don't want a lot of leverage when you're tapping small taps like that. You want to keep that leverage down. The harder you have to work at turning it in, the more apt you are to feel when it's starting to get dull. Just the way I look at it anyway. Seems to work for me. Okay. A little more Molly D on her. I'm a firm believer in Molly D too, so I've mentioned it before. I'll mention it again. That stuff, it's really messy. It stinks, but for tapping, you can't beat it. And if you're drilling holes in heat-treated material, like especially stainless, you can't beat it there either. Trim Sol will work, but Molly D is much better. It's like a high-pressure lube. I don't know. Something in it that it's a high sulfur oil, but something else that's in it that really the lubricity of it is really good. Next, last one for this one, then I can go ahead and mount that. I can actually put it on the carburetor plate, but I'll have to, I need to transfer the holes into the manifold, mount plate to the manifold yet. I haven't done that either. Just kind of cleaning up loose ends here and there as I go. I know there was some talk about spring-loaded tap guides too on the board today. I do have one. I use it for threads number 10 and bigger. Anything that's 10 and bigger, then I use a spring-loaded tap guide, unless I'm power tapping. You know, at 1/4 inch, and if it's a through hole and I'm on my conventional mill, I'll power tap it instead. I'll let the machine do the work, drill the hole, and just tap it right away. Anything from number 1/4 up. Matter of fact, I've even done 10s that way with no problem. If I had a floating holder for my CNC, it could actually power tap there too. I keep meaning to make one of those, but haven't done that yet. Too many things to do, not enough time to do it. All right, well, I got the one plate done here, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the next one. Okay, here's kind of a preview of what it's gonna look like. I just set I bolted it to the riser that I just finished, and you can, and I set it on the manifold. You can just kind of see what it's kind of going to look like. You know, I think it's a little crooked, but I'll get it when I put the hole pattern in. It'll straighten it out, and I'll get it straight. So I think it's going to look pretty good. It's gonna look all right. I might mill a angle on the bottom side of that yet. I don't know. I'll have to play with it and see. So I didn't get a whole lot done today, but that's gonna be it for today. Go in and probably take some Alka-Seltzer and blow my nose again and settle in for the evening. Didn't get a lot done, just don't really feel up to it yet. So, but when you gotta force yourself to do it, it's not near as enjoyable as when you come out and you're feeling good and things go good and you just feel good about it. But when you don't feel good, it's just like it's really tough to do. So I will catch you tomorrow again if I happen to get out here.